Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all here. It is more than an honor to be here today in Al-Mastawa and to welcome so many of you who have traveled to the United Arab Emirates from abroad and for those tuning in online. Before continuing with today's proceedings, I'd like to give a special thanks to the support provided by the Ministry of Economy and our sponsors, Al-Ittihad Gold, Gold Standard, National Bank of Fujairah, Sam Precious Metals, World Gold Council, StoneX, Ithra Dubai, Fujairah Gold, Transguard, Emirates MBD, Al-Attaki Metals Refinery, Brinks, and the new jeweler. In a few weeks' time, the United Arab Emirates will celebrate its Golden Jubilee, and with it, a moment to reflect on what has been achieved over this time. Outside of its unprecedented physical transformation, which includes record-breaking buildings to the state-of-the-art infrastructure, the UAE's commitment to becoming a world leader has seen it become one of the few nations to have reached the Red Planet through its successful Emirates Mars mission last year. More recently, Expo 2020 Dubai became the first World Expo to ever take place in the Middle East, Africa, or South Asia regions, opening its doors to the world under the theme Connecting Minds, Creating the Future. And in spite of the pandemic, has received over 2.3 million visitors in the first month. Having visited on almost a daily basis for the past few weeks, I more than recommend you take the time to go between now and the end of March 2022. Another area in which Dubai has made significant progress over an even shorter period is the development of its precious metals industry, in particular gold. However, it was in fact gold that had helped DMCC become the award-winning free zone it is today. Shortly after its establishment in 2002, Standard, Deutsche, and Dubai Islamic banks helped to launch a groundbreaking gold sukuk, which raised $200 million, which was used to finance the construction of Almas, AU, and AG towers. It was assigned an A long-term and an A-1 short-term rating by S&P. The sukuk was not only oversubscribed, but repaid fully and on time, despite the looming global financial crisis, which I'd like to highlight. The MC mentioned this is the 9th Dubai Precious Metals Conference. You see, my team, and a lot of them are still here, we applied His Highness' philosophy. Don't look at the challenge and opportunities. Look at the opportunities within the challenges. And we found an opportunity by launching this conference, and we're still going strong. In 2004, DMCC created a state-of-the-art vault, which was delivered in coordination with Brinks and still operated by Brinks. Ensured to hold over $1 billion in assets, it remains the biggest private vault in the Middle East and has been developed to work in coordination with the banks to extend collateral to customers, thereby helping to enhance Dubai's reputation as a destination for ease of doing business. Through its ongoing relationship with Brinks, DMCC is today connected to more than 120 countries throughout the world, while offering full in-house customs clearance services. It also provides the security and regulation of the UAE government, which continues to tackle some of the industry's most prevalent challenges, including removing illicit metals from the value chain, while preventing money laundering and terrorism financing. Today, the United Arab Emirates accounts for 11% of the total global gold exports, with the gold sector accounting for 29% of total non-oil foreign trade exports of the country, and it doesn't stop there. Through the DGCX, the Dubai Gold and Commodities Exchange, for those who have not heard of it, Dubai has also been busy scaling new businesses while introducing new products and technologies to meet international demand. Over the past 12 months, DGCX traded close to 8 million contracts, with notional value exceeding 186 billion US dollars. In addition, the Singapore regulator, MAS, recognized the DCCC as a recognized clearinghouse, enabling it to offer clearing services to banks and financial institutions in Singapore, making DGCX more accessible to Asia-based investors. In May of this year, DGCX received a permit from the Israel Security Authority, enabling DGCX to service Israeli-based market participants and investors with its products and services. With this permit, DGCX continues to expand its role as the leading Middle East exchange for derivative trading. At the forefront of developing and shaping the Islamic finance sector, DGCX is involved in further structuring through partnership with leading institutions to introduce more Islamic products to the exchange, including its recent partnership with Global Islamic Financial Services, focusing on gold products. To date, DGCX has traded some 1.7 tons, $86 million of Sharia-compliant spot gold. This year, DGCX launched several new products, including PKR USD, Pakistani rupees, futures contract, the first of its kind on a regulated platform, and has since traded 7 million of the region's first daily 12.8 kilogram gold futures contract. Looking ahead, DGCX will soon be launching new currencies, including the Brazilian real, Israeli shekel, and yes, the Mexican peso. DGCX is also preparing to enter the cryptocurrency world by launching Bitcoin and Ethereum futures, subject to regulatory approval. But before delving into crypto, I want to first address the elephant in the room, namely the consistent and unsubstantiated attacks launched on Dubai by other trading centers and institutions. As a strategic location which connects producing countries, major manufacturing centers, and the largest consuming markets in the world, Dubai has a unique competitive advantage. Unfortunately, rather than finding ways to collaborate or engage, Dubai has faced a continuous barrage of unsubstantiated criticism from a broad range of stakeholders, including corrupt NGOs, de facto regulators, and more recently, the Swiss Secretariat of Economic Affairs, who issued a letter to its refineries to get strict on UAE gold. Putting the obvious nationally targeted insults to one side, it appears Dubai's detractors need to ask themselves several key questions. Firstly, is playing the type of identity politics that enables refiners to lobby or pay politicians to push their agendas the sort of practice they want to be known for? And is taking a blanket approach to isolating key trading partners, such as the UAE, rather than working with them to address specific evidence-based issues, a credible way to protect the wider gold industry? For the benefit of such institutions, I'll start reminding them that DMCC's practical guidance, which has been in effect since 2012, enforces all members to follow the OECD due diligence guidance, which is mandatory for all Dubai Good Delivery and market deliverable brand accredited refiners. Just as the LBMA's responsible gold guidance enforces the same mandatory policy for its LBMA accredited refiners. In isolating the UAE, these institutions are not only insinuating it remains the only nation, not refiner or specific business, but sovereign country through which illicit African gold is made available, but furthermore that the OECD guidelines to which it adheres aren't worth the paper they're printed on. Either you accept that the OECD is a standard worth following, in which case you should accept all gold from accredited refiners, or none at all. In the same way that Meta and Twitter have shown how morally bankrupt they can be with data privacy, so have these institutions shown that they are not interested in working to improve the industry standards, but protect their own financial interests at the cost of everyone else. This will stop. Having pushed for enhanced regulation, most recently through a proposed ban on hand-carry gold, many of the world's largest stakeholders remain notably absent from our webinars. Despite DMCC gathering support from many producing nations, including the Democratic Republic of Congo, refiners, logistic providers, and ethical stakeholders. If anyone is in favor of keeping hand carry, please say so, and I'll be happy to discuss at further length. However, to continue to be absent in collaboration, industry-wide talks, show a lack of willingness to find a solution to universally known problems. As part of that solution, I'm looking forward to hearing from Michael Saylor, Chairman of the Board of Directors and Chief Executive Officer at MicroStrategy, one of the world's leading advocates for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency movement, to hear how blockchain and crypto could help to promote a more secure and transparent industry. Having launched the DMCC Crypto Center earlier this year, we've already registered over 100 companies, with a further registered interest from 1,000 more. Ultimately, I support crypto because it mitigates human involvement, therefore making it harder to be corrupted. It reminds me of Mohammed Al-Abbar's speech at the Global African Business Forum in 2013, responding to questions about corruptions in Africa. And he pointed out the financial crisis in the US with, rating agencies giving these companies AAA or quadruple A the night before they went belly up, knowing that they were going to be belly up. But he had this very interesting quote: where there's human beings, where there's people, there will always be a bit of corruption, but not so much with crypto. One good example is Evia, one of the members of the Crypto Center that does rating on crypto and blockchain businesses using machine learning and AI. And I made a mistake in representing them, I think yesterday or the day before, when I said very little human interaction. I said, I have to correct you there, Ahmed. No human interaction, as in no corruption, no chance of corruption. In utilizing a decentralized system such as blockchain, we're slowly reducing the ability of unscrupulous individuals to lie about their transactional history. Had Bernie Madoff's fund been on the blockchain, investors would have been able to see within a short period where he had invested, making it impossible for him to steal anyone's money, period. No matter what your position on crypto as an asset class, it has not only survived a consistent level of criticism over the past decade, but thrived in an era where fiat currencies are rapidly depreciating. In a similar capacity to gold, Bitcoin also represents a non-sovereign, finite store of value, which is ultimately what I believe will ensure its long-term success. Even the negativity, associate aspects that centralize around things such as annual energy consumption have been shown to be far less than both the current banking system's data centers and the resource-intensive extraction of gold. Not to mention the inherent problems in both sectors that after hundreds of years we're still unable to solve. Ultimately, we're living in a rapidly changing world where forward-thinking cities, businesses, and even nations, most recently Ecuador, are embracing crypto as a safer, more transparent system for commerce. Even members of trade blocs such as the EU have been investigating ways to carve out their own cryptocurrencies, most notably through the 3 Cs initiative. Yes, I'm talking about Poland here, you should YouTube it. Today, a new generation of people who were born into the digital era are finding new ways to invest and utilize technologies to make it work more effectively, which eventually will lead to outdated systems either having to adapt or be left behind. It reminds me of what the email did to the postal industry. As an industry, we have a choice. Let us choose wisely. And before I close, I have some side notes, just in case. I thought my side notes would be 1 page, just to show everyone what are the cities and regions that have embraced crypto. San Francisco is accepting. Not surprising, the technology capital of the United States figures prominently on our list. San Francisco is home to cryptocurrency trading platforms Coinbase and Kraken. More than 100 merchants accept Bitcoin, from restaurants, bars, to hostels and stores. There are 437 Bitcoin ATMs in the Bay Area, including 65 in the city of San Francisco itself. Not bad, given its relatively small population of 880,000. Vancouver, Bitcoin has a strong community in Canada, which has taken regulatory steps to embrace virtual currency. Vancouver is home to Quadriga CX, a defunct cryptocurrency exchange that lost 180 million client funds after the alleged death of its founder. There are more than 50 members who accept Bitcoin in Vancouver or the surrounding suburbs, and 221 locations to buy Bitcoin. In fact, the world's first Bitcoin ATM began operations at Waves Coffee House in October 29, 2013 in downtown Vancouver. The city is home to more than 631,000 residents. Amsterdam is home to mining hardware maker Bitfury and the European headquarters of payment service provider BitPay. CoinMap identifies more than 40 places to spend Bitcoin in the Dutch capital, including bike repair shops, barbers, and coffee shops. The city's 840,000 residents have about a dozen Bitcoin ATMs available to them. Merchants in Utrecht, Rotterdam, and The Hague also accept cryptocurrency. I'm not going to be able to pronounce the city in Slovenia. It starts with LGU, so good luck with that. It's the capital. I am so sorry to every Slovenian in this room. And its largest city, yet it is the smallest in our list, with a population of about 289,000. The prominent Bitcoin exchange, Bitstamp, was founded by Slovenians before setting up operations in Luxembourg and London. The capital has 11 Bitcoin ATMs in the city and surrounding areas, and roughly 200 merchants who say they accept Bitcoin. Tel Aviv, Israel's financial center, one of the world's leading cities for startups, most famously Startup Nation, has 19 merchants accepting Bitcoin and 7 Bitcoin ATMs and population of 451,000. The Israel Bitcoin Meetup Group in Tel Aviv is among the most active in the world, with more than 4,000 members. Portsmouth, New Hampshire. This small coastal city is home to a surprisingly large community of cryptocurrency users. Dubbed Bitcoin Village by local residents, the downtown area is home to about a dozen crypto-friendly businesses, including the Seacoast Repertory Theater and the Free State Bitcoin Shop. There are also 21 Bitcoin ATMs and tellers in Portsmouth and nearby towns, a surprisingly high figure for a town of only 22,000 people. How could I leave Miami? And its mayor, Juarez, who just got re-elected barely 3 weeks ago. This major metropolis has about 4 dozen merchants who say they accept Bitcoin, and the surprising 651 Bitcoin ATMs and tellers. It is home to the Miami Bitcoin Conference, one of the oldest and largest conventions of the cryptocurrency industries. The city's government is seeking to attract blockchain businesses to their city, and Mayor Francis Suarez has proposed investing city funds in Bitcoin and even launching a municipal cryptocurrency. I believe Miami Heat Stadium is called Bitcoin Stadium. I'm not sure. And the major reason the mayor of Miami is pushing for Bitcoin, he's of Cuban origin, and he knows what it is not to have currency. He knows what it is to cut off the oxygen, and his main reason is a humanitarian step. It isn't about annoying the elites. El Zonte, El Salvador. I believe this was the first announcement that made the news. This tiny tourist town is now seeking to rebrand itself as Bitcoin Beach, the world's first Bitcoin-centered economy, following a substantial crypto donation at the municipal government. The town received its first Bitcoin ATM in 2020, one of the 1,500 being installed around the country as El Salvador moved to adopt the cryptocurrency as its legal tender. Bitcoin can now be used to pay taxes, and foreign investors will not be subject to capital gains taxes. The national government has also worked with entrepreneurs to introduce a simplified Bitcoin wallet for low-fee transactions. And more recently, New York, the financial and tech hub of 8.4 million people, can spend their Bitcoin at about 3 dozen merchants in the metro area, including the Bitcoin store in Lower Manhattan and Crypto Art in Morningside. Morningside Heights. New York is also a major hub for crypto startups and media companies such as CoinDesk, Decrypt, and Cointelegraph, as well as home to Consensus, one of the largest annual events in the crypto industry. London, the capital of the United Kingdom, is home to 8.9 million residents, 50 Bitcoin ATMs, and about the same number of merchants who will accept Bitcoin for payment. Startups based in the city include CoinFloor, which claims to be the oldest Bitcoin exchange in the UK. There are also dozens of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency meetup groups in London. Runner-ups, other regions becoming more accepting of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, including Cyprus, Malta, as well as countries experiencing economic uncertainty and currency volatilities, such as Venezuela and Zimbabwe. Makes me wonder, what do they all have in common? Some are leading when it comes to the tech industry. Some have their backs pushed to the wall. And I've lost my closing side, so I'm going to close off script here. It's a choice. You know, the first thought that came to my mind when I saw Christine Lagarde complain and warn people about it, and including Peter Schiff as well. I've never seen them send messages to people at casinos, stop throwing your money away. I've never seen them do that. It's not that they care about that. There's some other reason, which this is not the right platform to do. Let's just say Western Europe will feel freer with cryptocurrencies. Let's just say that, for example, Senegal and others. And the reason I brought Michael Saylor, I didn't know, I thought it would take me a while to convince him to be in an event, but he was as warm to come in as we wanted to bring him here. It isn't to annoy the gold industry. I am wearing the gold hat today. We represent 3 Operation Gold refiners here, with 2 more that's going to be operational before the end of next year. And these 3 refiners, they won't admit it, but if you push them, I'm just saying, if they push, we're not saying they will, they could do 3.1 tons of gold refining per day, if you push them. And we have 2 more coming in. I don't believe that gold will completely disappear, but gold has a lot of work to do. And when you promote gold, you better be able to back it off. Because the devil's advocate, you know, the response to it is, show me one person that owns a few million of gold and is keeping it. Who's owning $500 million of gold? These are the questions that's going to pop up. And this is what you'll have to do in the next few days. You won't be able to mitigate this all in one day. But let's have a nice discussion. Let's, and you know, the same way that DMCC achieved what it's achieved. You know, we've had stones thrown at us. Big part of me wants to thank the criticism that DMCC received throughout the years. His Highness was the Crown Prince when I joined DMCC in 2001. And there were whole articles attacking His Highness personally, not just Dubai and the UAE. So when I respond with that memory. When I respond to these attacks, these lies, it's a memory of how mistreated DP World was when it bought P&O. The garbage that was thrown at it, saying it's a security risk. More so, Idan Offer of Zim Shipping sent out a letter to Senator Hillary at the time, explaining to her that DP World is not an issue for Israeli businesses, because he's never had an issue with his business since day one. She received the letter. She never spoke about it, put it on the side, because it was a political row between Democrats and Bush. They had to put a dent on Bush's administration. And the collateral damage was again Dubai. So whatever's going on between the Better Gold that's completely conflicted and their only full partner is Seco, we don't care about that. Just need to remind them that Platter and Platini are not having fun right now. And they're, what my team took off from my speech, their former Attorney General, Michael Leber, his immunity has been waived to pave way for a criminal investigation, for a special criminal investigation. It was waived by the Swiss Parliament for his high-level handling of FIFA. This is not new. Doesn't mean don't work with FIFA. Just means that there some groups are there on notice, and it will get resolved. We have a saying, you know, I can't translate it. What attracts stones is the fruits. So my point is, I'm happy where we are. It brought attention. We could see on our screens that there's a lot of interaction, there's a lot of access from Swiss, And today it's going to be my target on my playground. I'm going to have fun promoting DMCC, and I'm not going to be promoting it to the old horses. I will be promoting it to the high schoolers, to the newcomers, to the new waves. And as you know, these are not millennials. These are even the ones who are coming after the woke community. And the woke community don't care for statues, don't care for history. They want something that makes sense. They go to Reddit, they go check, they go inspect. They don't trust big names. So this is going to be real fun for me. And Jeffrey Rose, I know you're on the panel. I know a lot of you have your own speeches. I wish you all the best. I'm accessible in Almas Tower, on Twitter, Facebook, my office. But I do spend 70% of my time, at least on my mind, at the coffee center. That's what I'd appreciate you to meet me at. Thank you.